still. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Anything Unhinged, and we've got a special one. It's been a while since I've been on the channel, but we are back with an absolute great one. As you can see, we've got a special guest. It's Lieutenant Aldo Rain. What's going on, Aldo? How are you?
Lieutenant Aldo Rain reporting for duty.
Everyone's
No, it's
familiar with
good
this
good to
phrase.
be back on, Lenny. Good to be back on.
Yeah, it's good to have you back on the show. I know we've sort of worked together in a company called Oktagon MMA that you fight for next. So we haven't really talked on MMA Unhinged because I didn't want to be what's the word? Uh,
Biased.
biased, yes. But now things have fizzled out, and now here we are. You're with Octagon still, and I would love to talk about that. It's a great matchup, March 8th. You're back with Octagon, which kind of seemed like the relationship fizzled out. Firstly, I'd love to talk to you about that. What happened? How did that kind of fizzle out, and how we ended up back with Octagon? I know it's been a whole story. Once upon a time, there
Yeah.
was a fight announcement out there with PFL Europe.
Yeah, listen, it's been a long journey since like last year, hasn't it? Like obviously this time last year, I'm actually getting memories coming up. Literally about a few days ago last year, I fought Siraki in Newcastle,
Yeah,
and that was billed as the biggest mismatch in Octagon history. A 30 fight veteran versus an 0-2 guy, 0-2 on paper. Um, Obviously I went in there, I had my absolute way with him, made it look easy. 30-27 on the scorecards, probably could have been a 30-26 depending. Um, yeah, since then obviously I had one other fight with them, and then it just sort of took a bit of a turbulent fall, didn't it? I won't say it was anything personal on me from the company. I do think that it was obviously the whole way that the UK expansion went. It didn't go the way they planned, which is fair enough. The market's a hard market. I have been saying this from the start, though. Like, we need to do an Irish card. That's what I was saying. Like, we need to do an Irish card. Forget about trying to expand into the UK. There's the UK fans. They're a bit like they'll come to a show to support their mate, and then they'll just get off. Do you know what I mean? Where the Irish fans, you put a load of Irish fighters on a card, they'll support any Irish fighter on the card. They don't care. Um, I was saying this for a while, but then obviously after the Birmingham card, then I wanted to stay active. I wanted to fight on Eden. Wasn't given that. I wanted to fight, on the Bratislava card, the summer party card. Wasn't given that. And then, I was being made wait for ages. So we sort of fell out a little bit. Egos clashed. I'm not gonna take any personal responsibility out of it, because I definitely had a bit of an ego about it as well. There was third parties that were involved that led to miscommunications. Um, and then there we were. By September, I was looking to fight on PFL. Got signed with PFL. That fell through because of the contract disputes. And yeah, we had a bit of a turbulent year last year, but here we are now. Everything's sorted now. New deal signed. Um, Back to good faith and hopefully a good relationship. A big fight in a big arena in Germany, like I've wanted. I wanted to get these fights in the continent. Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia. So yeah, like we're here now. We're getting it done. And finally, I'm going to put a lot of these lightweights on notice, I think, because there's an undefeated guy in Robin Frank. I'm going to be robbing that off him and taking it home and putting it on my mantelpiece along with his chin.
Yeah, and just a quick one on obviously the Octagon show. I know you won't want to talk about it too much, but what was how did you come back together? Was it just a simple bit of a call between you and Andre, or maybe Pavel just got onto a call and just sort of discussed things? Is that what it was? Maybe you were just real and open together.
Do you know
Sound
what?
like very
I obviously the Paddy situation happened, um,
for the
and
numbers.
then and as well, I've got a baby on the way, so I said, listen, like I'm gonna put the ego aside. I have to make money. Like at the end of the day, this is what I do. I'm a professional fighter. It's what I do. It's how I make the majority of my money is what I from fights, right? and yeah, I needed a couple fights before I have a baby. So I myself and my coach Carl Prince got in touch with Andre, the matchmaker, and said, "Listen, how can we resolve this?" We got chatting, um, and we came to a mutual understanding. You know, as I said, there was a third party that was involved in the negotiations previously that is no longer involved in the negotiations. Um, that I think that a lot of the miscommunication came from, and I think a lot of the issues arose from in the first place. So now we've repaired the relationship, and we're on the way to working together for a long time. I hope. You know, I don't have any problem with Octagon as a company personally. Um, you know, maybe have some issues with some of their fans and some of their fans' viewpoints and some of the things their fans say. But I mean, MMA fans as a whole are quite fickle, we'll say, and quite cultish almost, regardless of what country they're from or what region they're from or whatever. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, the fans don't get in the cage and fight for me. I get in the cage and fight. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're a great fit for Octagon. And I feel like we're going to see that on March 8th. I'm looking forward to see how you turn out against Robert Frank. It's a great fight, undefeated. But I look at this match and I'm thinking, you've been in this position before, obviously with George Staines, Callum Mullen, Jan Soroki. You've been on that Octagon stage before. Do you think that helps you, March 8th?
100%, mate. 100%. Obviously, like every fight I've fought for Octagon, I've been the underdog, I believe. Maybe Callum Mullen, I wasn't as much of an underdog on the bookies anyway, but I think that like fans wise, fans expected me to lose that fight. Fans expected me to lose against Rocky. Fans expected me to lose against George. I don't even think fans thought I'd last into the fourth round against George. Um, you know, I'm used to being the underdog, and this time I'm going to get to be the underdog in his hometown in Stuttgart. I've been to Stuttgart before. I've been in that arena before. I've fought under, as you said, under the Octagon banner before in the big arenas. I think I just will find comfort there, and he will not. He will have a lot of pressure on him from being in front of his home crowd, from the trash talk that I'm going to lay onto him in the press conferences on fight week. He's going to see me in the hotel. I think he will crumble under that pressure. He will not. He won't be able to survive it. I don't think, and I'll teach him a lesson in there about real striking because I think he considers himself a striker. So I'll show him what a real striker can do.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Robin as a whole. As we talked about, 5-0. His last fight getting a head kick knockout. But he said there, you want to talk to him. You want to, show him what real striking's all about. And obviously, I feel like where you win most of your fights is before the fight because obviously you like to get in front of the fighter's face and sort of get into their head a little bit. I've seen it in first hand. Working with Octagon. And I feel like you're kind of a master at it. Is that what you feel as well? You can pretty much win the fight before the fight.
I don't know if I consider myself a master at it just yet. I'm still harnessing my craft. I don't think I've reached like my black belt of mind games just yet. I am on my way there though. I think I'm probably one of the worst wind up merchants in MMA. You know, if I can get under people's skin enough to have, a top 15 UFC fighter wanting to have a straightener with me, then I think I can get under and a scouser might I add, like I think I can get under anyone's skin, especially some stiff German dosser with no sense of banter because they don't have banter over there. Let's be honest, they don't know how to like cuss each other out. They don't know how to slag each other off. They don't know how to have the banter. They're stiff, mentally stiff, boring. You know. So I mean, he's already blocked me from tagging him on stuff, and we're only two memes in, and we've still got 5 weeks left till the fight. So it is what it is. When he stood in front of me during fight week, and he has to be sat across from me at the table at the press conference, he'll see what's up. I hope he speaks English, so he won't have to, get it translated for him, because sometimes these things can get lost in translation when you're trash talking to someone. I hope he speaks English and he can fully understand what I'm saying to him. But regardless of all that shit, when we're locked in the cage, he will understand what I'm saying to him. When I'm hitting him in the face with elbows, when I'm slapping head kicks across his jaw, like he'll understand that. That physical communication. That's something that he will understand. And yeah, like you said, he's 5-0. 4 finishes, 15-second head kick knockout. Who was that against? Like, some Brazilian journeyman. Boom. Like, let's see if he can land the head kick on me.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk about what sets you apart on the night. You talked about there, you're going to be slapping head kicks against him, and having the pleasure of sort of watching that in the arena. Your distance control is magnificent. You know where you want to be at all times, and sort of where you are in the cage. Is that, do you think, that sets you apart? Is that you're just too smart for him once you get in sort of them encounters when striking?
Yeah, I think I'm too rangy. My feint game is too elite, and as you said, my distance control. And you're talking about a version of me from last April. It's almost a year ago, and I've been training. I've been training hard. I've basically done like 3 or 4 camps since that time, because of thinking I was going to do a PFL camp, thinking I was
Yeah.
going to do other fights. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think you'll see another level of version of me come out when it comes to March the 8th. And listen, like you could watch back my last 8 fights, 6, 7, 8 fights, yeah, including Oktagon Challenge. I don't really get hit clean often, you know. Obviously George landed some ground and pound. I'm talking about on the feet in a striking situation. Who's hit me clean, really? Like, you could probably count on 2 hands the amount of times I've been hit clean between Callum Mullen fight, the Siraki fight, the Bo Gavin fight, the Hassan Gillespie fight, and the George fight on the feet. Like, you could count on 2 hands how many times I actually got caught clean. One of those was Bo Gavin, who, was excellent at getting into the pocket, landing some good combinations with the hands, and then catching me over the top. But I don't think this guy hits as hard as Bo Gavin. I don't think he is as technically proficient as Bo Gavin. And I don't think he will be able to get in there, because this is not the version of me that fought Bo Gavin.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just excited to see you back in Octagon. I think it was you had these 2 fights with obviously the relationship broke down between you and Octagon outside, and it kind of felt like you could see how you've had these big time experience against Jan Soroki and Callum Mullen, that you shouldn't be on that sort of stage. Did you kind of feel that as well when you were fighting outside Octagon, or you were thinking, I shouldn't be in with these guys? I know this is where obviously the criticism became from Paddy Pimblett and everything all kicked off after that. But did you kind of
Yeah.
feel like that? Yeah, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, mate, it is a bit of an annoyance. Like, no disrespect on the shows that I fought on, but it's a bit of an annoyance to go from fighting in arenas with big production, big public weigh-ins and like big media and all this sort of surrounding it, big hotel, to then fighting on a regional show in like a warehouse or in a hotel lobby, or in a gym somewhere, and against, as you say, lesser caliber opponents. To be fair, the fight I was meant to have in December was all right. Like, the guy was a four degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. So the guy I was meant to be fighting, that Thiago Des Freitas, he was actually good, and he would have given me a good fight, I reckon, at least on the ground in the grappling aspect. But when it came to it, he bottled it 24 hours before. You know what I mean? Um, and I ended up having to fight a lesser caliber guy, and I made easy work of it, but I had fun in there at the same time. But yeah, like, I wasn't happy about it. People said, "Oh, like, I got dropped by Octagon." I never got dropped by Octagon. The relationship broke down. They didn't want me to leave, which is why they've now got me back. Um, so yeah, here we are. We're back. We're back on the stage that I belong on. I'm going to again show the levels against a highly touted guy, a guy that's quite rated, it seems, in the scene. I'm going to go make mincemeat of him and then show everyone why, once again, I am the Menace.
Yeah, we had a bit of a taster of the German fans. I don't know if you watched Touchgun on the weekend, But that
Mm.
did that light a little fire under your eye a little bit, like being out there in front of the German fans, maybe potentially beating one of their boys as well.
Um, the taster I got that was best of the German fans was last year in Stuttgart when
Oh yeah,
we were all over there. We watched Arjen Topolai had a fight, pussy. Um, Christian Youngwirth had a fight, absolute animal of a fella. Can't disrespect him. He comes out, he has a war every time. In his hometown, the walkout was sick. One of the sickest walkouts I've ever seen live. Everyone was up on their feet singing.
yeah.
Obviously, because he's a hometown boy. But yeah, we watched a few good fights on that. We watched Jakub Banik getting absolutely smoked by an Afghan kid. Um, yeah, seeing that was probably the best experience of the German fans that we could have got. So I'm looking forward to going and putting up a performance in front of those German fans because they seem like they really do like MMA and they do they're really into it. So I'm gonna go over there and win them over by slapping up their hometown boy.
Well, Oktagon have built a fantastic market in Germany. They've capitalised on that really well, and I'd like to see that with the Irish market. We talked about that earlier. Will Flurry in the main event, looking to capture another belt in the Octagon promotion. Obviously, he's going for
Yeah.
the heavyweight championship this time. But talk to me about that. I don't know whether you've had interaction with Will Flurry, but and a fellow Irishman. How does that feel to get having a good man on the card as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, and like listen, you know, at the start of last year, January the 27th, I believe it was, I became the first Irishman to ever win a fight on Octagon MMA, right? Um, by the end of the year, December 29th, almost exactly 11 months later, we've got the first Irish champion, Will Fleury. Personally, I would have liked to have been as active as Will was because he got like 3 fights last year, didn't he? I would have liked 4 fights last year. I want to fight 4 times a year, me. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Maybe if I'd have stayed active with them, I could have been in a better position now to be pushing for a title fight myself. But I'm not gonna, I'm proud of Will. I'm proud of what he's done. He put up a good performance. He's shown the Czech fans that Irish MMA is just a level ahead of Czech MMA. Took out their long reigning champion, their hero of MMA, Carlos Ramola, absolutely demolished them. Um, and yeah, now he's going for a second belt. If he gets that second belt, when he gets that second belt, there's no denying that we need to go to Ireland. Like we need to do a show in Dublin or in Belfast or wherever it happens to be. Um, we need to get a show on the island of Ireland, and obviously he would be headlining, I imagine, but I can't imagine I'll be too far down the card. You know, there's me, there's Shem, there's Aaron McDonald. Maybe they'll sign a couple new boys, a bit of new Irish blood to get in there. Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of Irish talent that have left PFL slash Bellator. I know James Gallagher is
Mm.
on the list that they could potentially sign.
Mm.
So he's a big name in Ireland, and he'd be
James
able to be
Galler's a massive name, mate. James Galler's a massive name. I reckon. I reckon it's a big shot getting him. What's he fight at bantamweight, isn't it, or flyweight?
featherweight. I think
Bantamweight.
recently, but bantamweight, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's
And
really a bantamweight, don't he?
even get Peter Queally back out because it
Yeah,
doesn't
Peter
matter
Queenie
who
for
he
the
fights.
walkout,
Get the zombie out. That's all you need.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Get Peter Queenie in there. Obviously, you've got like Dara Kelly. I think he might still be at PFL. I'm not sure, but like you've got Kieran Clark.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
got you've got loads of good lads in there. Like loads of good Irish lads that are, like you said, are no longer fighting with Bellator maybe or have moved on to different things. So yeah, get them in there. Get some of the lads that are maybe finished their contracts with Cage Warriors. Some of those Irish lads. Yeah, we take over this whole Octagon promotion.
It's going to be interesting to see, obviously, where it ends up, and hopefully, if Will wins, I think he will win against Hungarian. I think he is a Bulgarian heavyweight champion that they have over there. But I think he will win. He's very versatile.
Hmm.
My next topic. I think I'd do myself a disservice if we didn't speak about it. You spoke about it a few times, and obviously that was the Paddy Pimblett situation. obviously everyone knows the story, how it all ended out. There was a call out video from Denis Frimpong. Next thing you know, there's a straightener in Manchester top team. But I just want to talk about the positives. It was over a 6 minute, hard sparring session.
Yeah.
Eventually, obviously, he did take you down. Obviously, then it finished. But what was the positives that you took away from obviously having that interaction with Paddy Pimblett? Was there some good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, felt like I held my own on the feet. We definitely, if I kept the standing, I feel like I would have been a lot more comfortable. He was not landing some nice inside calf kicks, but obviously in shin pads, you don't really feel those as much. Um, I lasted 6 minutes, like you said, with no time limit, so there wasn't like 5 minutes, go back to your corner. It was like it's straight through. So I lasted longer than three or four of his UFC opponents did. Do you know what I mean? Including Bobby Green, who's a veteran in the UFC. So I know where my level stands at now. I know what I need to work on. I know what I'm good at. Um, yeah, I just need to work on my wrestling a bit more, don't I? And a bit of grappling. But listen, Paddy's got good grappling, so I don't think I did myself a disservice by getting subbed off him. Um, and it's not like he took me down and then just subbed me straight away. Like it took him a bit of time to get around me guard, and so it is what it is. Like I thought getting that experience in there under like a high pressure situation against a top 15 UFC fighter as well definitely will serve me well going into a fight against a 5-0 German guy that has never been to the UFC. Do you know what I mean? So I know for a fact that yeah, my confidence is sky high going in against this guy.
Do you think you surprised Paddy a little bit?
I reckon he was a bit surprised. Yeah, I reckon he was. I think he didn't shoot off the bat. I thought he would shoot off the bat and just take me down. He didn't shoot off the bat, so I reckon he probably expected that he would have an easy time with me on the feet. He probably thought I'll just fucking punch him up. And then I feel like when he realized, oh, it would probably just be easier to just take him down and fuck him up, he went to do that. You know what I mean? Um, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit as well, because I reckon if he had shot off the bat, I probably would have been a bit more ready for it. Because he started standing for like 4.5 minutes, I'm here thinking, oh, he's just gonna stand now, and then he shot, and I was like, ah, I fucking overcommitted a little bit in that, but it is what it is. Yeah, like I said, um, if it was rounds, it would have been stood up before that finish. Would have got back to the corner, started on the feet again. So yeah, I don't think there's many people in Octagon that are ever going to be able to do that to me. And there's some of these guys who are chatting shit, but like at the end of the day, none of them are near Paddy's level. Paddy's got like 20, 25 pro fights. He's like 20-4 or something, 20-3. And he's in the UFC top 15. So like those guys are not Paddy. So let's see.
Agree. I know how the whole situation played out, but still, great experience for yourself as you talked about Paddy. Top 10. Inside the UFC top 15. Going on to be bigger and better things. Interesting to see how he plays out next time out. But Denis, you talked about earlier. How are you going to rob and Frank's home?
How am I gonna rob it? I'm just gonna hit him with all sorts of stuff, mate. He's not gonna have a clue what's going on. Like honestly, I feel like he's a great fighter on the front foot. Once I put him on that back foot, he's gonna be confused. He's gonna be lost. He's gonna be coming into round three, open scoring. He's gonna be looking up at the scoreboard, 10-9 to Denis. Oh shit. 10-9 to Denis. Oh shit. And now he's going into round three thinking, his coaches are saying, come on, lads. You've got to knock him out here. You've got to win. This round's it. You've got to win this round. You've got to knock him out. You've got to finish him. Then he's going to start overcommitting. Then he's going to start making mistakes. And I think his round three is where the finish is going to come. And I'm going to knock him unconscious or I'm going to submit him. One or the other. But he is getting finished inside that 3 rounds.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great fight for yourself to get straight back into the mix. And I felt like Oktagon also weren't shy to throw you in there with a guy who's undefeated, straight back into one of your first fights back inside the company. But I'm looking forward to it. March 8th is going to be fantastic. Obviously, Oktagon 68, I do believe. Obviously, I believe you're on the main card as well. So that's that. Or was it prelims? Headline prelims.
I have no idea, mate. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Those cards never really come out properly till like the week of the fight, where the
that's it.
order is actually set. But I mean,
Yeah.
he's the hometown boy, isn't he? So I imagine that we might be on the main card. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. It should be good. I think I was watching the broadcast on What's 166, and I think they had you headline in the prelims. I do believe so. I think I've just remembered off the top of my head.
Fair.
But yeah, should be good though. Dennis, mate, an absolute pleasure. Always good to be talking with you. Also, it was a pleasure working with you whilst with my time at Octagon. It was great to be around you. It was, you're a great human being behind everything else. Good, humble man, and it was just great to talk to you as well. But yeah, good to see you on March 8th, getting back out there on the big stage, which ultimately where you should have been all along, whether it was PFL or Octagon. I think this is where you definitely should be. Should be a good event. That's pretty much it. We'll pretty much send you off, Dennis. An
Yeah,
absolute pleasure. And obviously
100%,
congratulations
Lenny.
to you and your wife.
100%. Thank you so much, mate, and appreciate you having me on again. Yeah.
It's always good. And I know that you obviously, I know I say recent, but I know it's been over a year now since you uh is it what's the word? Went over to Muslim. Is that the word? But I'm trying to think over.
Reverted. It's been nearly a year now since I reverted. Yeah.
So nearly a year. So obviously, I would like to talk about that as well, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
get on. We'll talk about it another time for sure.
that's it. That's it. It's always good to be joined by you, Dennis. Let's catch up next time after Octagon 68, where hopefully, where you will be robbing the bank and Robert Frank will be coming up against Dennis
Robin the
Frimpong.
Frank, Robin the
Robin
Frank.
Robin the Frank, and ultimately you get the win. It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Octagon back on the big stage. Dennis is back on the big stage. March 8th. Make sure you catch it live on Octagon.tv to watch the Menace back in action. Lieutenant Aldo Rain is off, and so is Lenny March. See you there.